Hello there, Cryptowisers. It's your good friend Milton here with another video for you guys. I'm so pumped about today's video. I'm going to be talking about one of my very favorite projects in crypto. This one is huge. And I know that word is used a lot in crypto. Huge. Everyone is like, this is huge, huge, huge. But today's project is actually huge. And I'm going to be asking the question, can this project and the man who is running this project save Polkadot? Now, if you've been watching Cryptowise since the very beginning, you would know that Polkadot is one of my very favorite projects. In the last bull cycle, I talked about it more than any other channel, hands down. I was one of the very first people talking about Polkadot, explaining parachains before parachains were even a thing. So if you love Polkadot the way that I do, you should be very, very, very excited for today's video, because I think today's video might be the only video on YouTube talking about Polkadot in the last 3 to 4 months that cost the treasury $0. That's right. Cryptowise, which is probably the YouTube channel that loves Polkadot the most, is really the only YouTube channel that does not get funding from the Polkadot treasury. Pretty much every other channel I watch that knows nothing about Polkadot, doesn't care about Polkadot, hardly mentions Polkadot, somehow was able to get a ton of money from the treasury, and I'm sure sold it right away and bought other crypto with it. But am I bitter about this? Absolutely I am. Of course I am. It sucks to be one of the only YouTube channels that has talked about Polkadot from the very beginning and yet not actually get support from the treasury to talk more about Polkadot. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm sorry about that. I won't talk about that anymore. But I will give you my very honest opinion about Polkadot, where it's at right now, what I'm thinking about it for this bull cycle. And like I said, I'll be talking about the one project that I really believe can save Polkadot this bull cycle. This is going to be an amazing episode. Really excited about it. So thank you so much for joining me for it. Before we dive right in, do me the favor, take a second to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And of course, if you're not already, go over to X and make sure that you follow me there at Cryptowise, guys. You know it's me because I got my little Pudgy NFT as my avatar. Okay, guys, before I get into Polkadot and the project I think can save it, I wanted to talk about this for a second. This is a blog post on Unchained. 455,000 tokens launched on Solana in 1 month, guys. 455,000 tokens. That's only on Solana. Now, that was double any other blockchain. On Base, the coin Ethereum layer 2, well, they only created 177,000 tokens in May. Guys, over 600,000 tokens were created in May on 2 chains. So why am I bringing this up? Well, this is a huge change in this bull cycle. If you've been in crypto a while, you know that every bull cycle in crypto is vastly different. Now, when I started this channel in 2020, we were just beginning that bull cycle. And really the only chain out there that had any sort of ecosystem was Ethereum. Now, there were the other layer ones. Polkadot was starting. Cardano was out there still. You still had some zombie chains like EOS from the last bull run. But then, of course, we had Solana, BNB, the Kronos chain, etc., etc. So we had all these layer ones, but they didn't have ecosystems yet. And then in the last bull run, we saw the ecosystems started, and then we saw all the DEXs come out, all the DeFi projects, then NFTs, of course, and various other dApps come out. So as a channel, that became even in itself fairly difficult to cover everything, to cover all the different chains and all the ecosystems. But at the end of the last bull run, we had, I don't even know, about maybe say 15,000 crypto projects. And back then that felt like absurd, okay? And you only covered the ones that were really relevant. But say there were like 10 chains out there that had ecosystems. Each ecosystem probably had 20 to 40 projects that were worth talking about. various stages, exciting startups or, some games that were coming out, all the DeFi stuff. But pretty much if you were in crypto, you kind of knew about all the different chains and all the different projects. Maybe there were some here or there that you didn't hear about, but eventually everyone started talking about the same things. And then of course NFTs came out, and some people got into NFTs, other people didn't. That was starting to become a bit much to be able to follow everything. But guys, this bull cycle is totally different. It's a whole nother level. 600,000 new tokens only on 2 chains in 1 month. There is no way to be able to cover all the tokens out there. When we really get heated up in this bull run, you're going to be talking about millions of tokens a day being created. So what does that mean for you and I as crypto retail investors, crypto enthusiasts? It's going to make it pretty challenging because retail is not all going to flow into the tokens that you like and the crypto projects that you like. Basically, in all the last bull cycles, anyone who went into crypto, a certain percentage of that money, the retail investors coming in, were going to filter into the projects that you liked. There just wasn't that many legitimate crypto projects. So if your project got any spotlight at all on it, it was going to run with the rest of the market. Now, crypto's just going to be, there are going to be way too many tokens for all tokens to run, I think. This is my personal opinion. Obviously, some chains are going to launch one day and be dead the next, and it's going to be somewhat overwhelming to try to keep up with the overall market. My strategy is I'm going to continue to be more of a fundamentals guy. Will every token I invest in this cycle survive? No. 100%. I expect a bunch of the tokens that I invest in, say in the next 6 months to a year, a bunch of those will die and go to zero. I expect that. But the bulk of my investments, I'm going to be going with the projects that I think have the fundamentals behind it. And I'll be looking at a longer time frame, a 5 to 10 year time frame for some of these, so that when the next bear crypto winter hits, if I'm stuck in some of the tokens that I've invested in, I think they're going to be able to bounce back because they have some fundamentals to them. But I'm really curious to see how this is going to affect this next bull run. This many tokens hitting the market on a daily basis. It's going to make it fascinating. And like I said, every bull cycle is different. We've seen every one of them I've been through has been very, very different. So if you were here for the last one and you thought you learned the lessons that you needed from that last one for this one, well, I think we're going to have to adjust our thinking, and we're going to have to be ready to pivot based on the new information that comes in and based on how this industry is changing drastically on a day-to-day basis. So that said, where am I at with Polkadot? It's a very good question because like I said at the beginning of this video, if you've been watching from the beginning, there's been no DOT supporter than me. And then when OpenGov started, which is their decentralized governance, which essentially meant that the treasury and all the money in the treasury, the way it's decided now how that money is spent is if you're a DOT holder, you can vote on how that money is spent. And because DOT is still very small, very niche, in comparison, in the grand scheme of things, you have a very small groups of people who are able to control the treasury and basically spend it however they want. And we've seen a ludicrous amount of money out of the treasury be spent on things that I just think are ridiculous and not actually helping the price of DOT or the growth of DOT. You're seeing huge vanity marketing spends. You're seeing influencers that I don't think deserve the money get a ton of money. And you're basically seeing people within DOT, create these little cliques and essentially just give themselves money and their friends money. So I've been pretty down on DOT because of that recently. And I haven't talked a lot about DOT on the channel. And of course, to be very honest, it sucks knowing that everyone else who's making DOT content is doing so because they're getting a ton of money from the treasury. So you don't feel super motivated to make free content for DOT when you put a lot of time and effort in it, knowing that other people are getting paid to do it and you're not. All that aside, and maybe because I haven't been making a lot of videos on DOT lately, a lot of people have been asking me, where am I at with it? Is it still one of my favorite investments for this bull cycle? In the last bull run, I was actually too bullish on DOT. It was a bit too early for what DOT was offering. We never really saw the ecosystem take off in the last bull run. None of the parachains that launched actually had something of great value that was offering something different that users were using. The whole ecosystem, just wasn't ready in the last bull run. But I have been holding my DOT bags since then, really hoping and believing that DOT could have a huge run in this next bull run, that it would finally be ready by now to really take off. And if we look at the DOT chart here, it still had a fairly great run last time. So DOT, if you don't know, the launch price of DOT was $3. It was actually 300, but then they did a token split, and so they 100x'd the tokens, and so basically $3 was the starting point for DOT. So, and we can see it went all the way up over $50. Okay, so if you bought in anywhere from $3 to $10, you did great last cycle. It went up to $53. That is not bad. It went up essentially in accordance to the whole market in the last bull run. Now, it was no Solana. For me, I thought it was going to be the Solana. When I first got into DOT, I thought for sure this is going to be the companion to ETH that is going to take off and do hundreds of X's in the last bull run. I was wrong, but still at a 15x profit, you got to be happy with that. The problem is in this early stage of this bull run, it's lagging behind. So if we look now, it's at about 720, which is actually pretty good, better than where it's been in the last couple of months. We peaked earlier this year. We got close to $10, not quite. But if we look at where it's at compared to its all-time high, it is still almost 87% down from its all-time high. Whereas other projects, so Cardano, which is kind of a joke right now. I mean, unless you're a diehard Cardano person, no one really talks Cardano anymore. No, the belief for Cardano is very, very low. And yet Cardano is doing a little bit better than DOT in terms of its all-time high. Its all-time high was $3.10, and it's only 85% down. So DOT's doing, from a relative to its all-time high to where it's at now, DOT's doing worse than Cardano, which is crazy. And then if you compare it to something, I'm not even going to compare it to like a Solana, because that's not even fair. Let's compare it to something like Near Protocol. Near came way after Polkadot in the last cycle. It got destroyed in the bear market in the crypto winter, like Polkadot did, like everything did. And yet Near is only 63% down from its all-time high. And I would say that this is where most of the top projects are in comparison to their all-time high. I would say 65% from the all-time high is really where you want your project to be, because that means it's showing some signs of life in this bull run. And we can see with Near, it bottomed out at about $1, and now it's back up to about 7.4. Whereas DOT bottomed out at under $4, and it's only at 7. It's not even double. So Near is about a 7x from where it bottomed out from. DOT's not even double. So it has lagged. And that to me is worrisome. This far into the bull run, why have we not seen DOT do better than it has so far? Now, there has been some really positive news for DOT that came out in the last couple of months, and you may have heard of it, but maybe not. If you're out there and you're not someone who follows DOT, maybe you haven't heard of this yet. Essentially, Gavin Wood, who's the founder of DOT, creator of DOT, he was one of the Ethereum guys, the genius behind DOT, and really the reason why I have believed in DOT for so long and had such faith in it in the last bull run was because Gavin Wood, I really think he's one of the geniuses in the Web3 space. He came out recently and introduced Jam. And Jam is essentially going to be the future of Polkadot, where he's, instead of the pair chain model that they've been working with so far, they're going to move to a new hybrid transactionalist blockchain model. Jam essentially is going to be the most flexible way that any developer or builder can have to utilize very decentralized, very safe block space. It basically is going to allow Polkadot to sell block space in essentially any way you can think of. Now, I won't go into full detail on this. There are tons of interviews with Gavin that you can look up if you really want to go into the weeds on what Jam. Now, the interview that I would recommend the most is this one here with Raoul Pal. This is an amazing interview, one of my favorite interviews with Gavin Wood ever. And most of you in crypto probably know Raoul. He really is one of the most well-known names in crypto these days. And yes, he was paid a shit ton of money from the Polkadot treasury to do this interview, which is annoying, that he needs to be paid to interview Gavin Wood. But that's the precedent that the OpenGov has created, in that because Some influencers have been paid a lot to talk about Polkadot. Others will not now until they are paid a lot to talk about Polkadot. Nevertheless, this is one of the best interviews with Gavin Wood. I highly recommend it. It's on the Raoul Pal, the Journeyman YouTube channel. Definitely recommend going out and giving that a watch. So Jam, for me, makes me extremely bullish on Polkadot, but in the long term. The problem with Jam is it's not going to roll out this bull cycle. We're already in probably the third inning of this bull run. 1 year from today, I think we should be getting worried about the end of the bull run. Jam is not going to be ready by then. It's not going to have a tangible impact on DOT by then. So now if Jam launches the way that Gavin has explained it, then I think DOT has a chance to be one of the top tokens for 2028, the next bull run. But unfortunately, the way they were kind of behind in the last bull run, I think it's going to happen the same way this time in terms of Jam. So does that mean I'm bearish on Polkadot this time around? The answer would be yes, if it weren't for one other project. And this is the project I teased you about it at the beginning of this video. So I know this has been a long-winded, long way around to get to this project. But the reason why I'm hanging on to some substantial Polkadot bags this cycle is because of this project, Mythical Games. So what the heck is Mythical Games? Well, Mythical Games is one of the biggest Web3 gaming companies, period. This thing is huge, and they are coming to Polkadot. They originally launched on Ethereum, but they are moving to Polkadot, and that is happening very soon. And this is huge, huge news. And this is really the only reason why I am still very bullish on Polkadot for this bull cycle, because Mythical could make a huge impact on DOT this cycle. So I know all you degens out there are going, Milty, is there a token yet? Is there a token yet? Because you all want to FOMO in to any little altcoin. I know, I'm the same. Yes, there is a token. This token's been out for a while. Like I said, they launched originally on Ethereum. The token is the Mythos token. It's actually down 5% today. As we can look at the 1 year chart here, it did peak a few months ago. It got all the way up to 67 and it's kind of came down, back down to 31. And then it went back over 50 and now it's back down to 40. It seems to have quieted down. Every time there's kind of news, some big news, it usually spikes, but then it calms down. This is the Mythos token. This is the one that is still on Ethereum. Okay, so this is not on Polkadot yet, but they're going to be launching this token on Polkadot. But let's just talk a little bit about how huge Mythical Games is. And I'm talking huge. And I know I said this before. Everyone in crypto says huge, 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 huge for all sorts of different projects. And usually it's not huge. This one is actually huge. Okay, first of all, they already have one of the most popular games in the Apple Store already. NFL Rivals. That's right, NFL. As far as I know, they're the only game that has the official license of the NFL, which of course is huge. And if you're in the US, you know how huge the NFL is. They have a fully licensed game based on the NFL called NFL Rivals. It's available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. And they have over 4 million players already. Yep, 4 million players are already playing their game. And this is only one of their games. They've got a few other games out there, and obviously they're making more and more games. You want to talk about huge? How about this? Okay, so in terms of the list of investors, I've never seen one bigger or more impressive than the people who have invested in Mythical Games. They just did their last funding round. They raised 150 million in this last round. Andreessen was in it. You know, huge name, but, you know, he invests a lot in other crypto projects. But look at this. The NFL, okay, itself has invested in them. Michael Jordan, yep, the Michael Jordan has also invested in them. So it says Mythical's latest round is packed with big names from the venture capital world, not to mention sports and entertainment. Now, this is not new. This is from a few years ago, but I just wanted to give you a sense of who's invested in this project. You've got 32 Equity, which is the National Football League's investment arm, along with One Team Partners, which is an alliance between the NFL and MLB respective players associations. Michael Jordan, as I said, the Kraft Group, which is the New England Patriots owner. Then you've got Michael Gordon of Fenway Sports Group, which is the largest sports ownership group in the world. she's not listed down here, but Christina Aguilera and a bunch of other people in the entertainment industry are invested, as is Gary Vaynerchuk and Galaxy Digital. So anyway, anyone who is anyone is essentially invested in Mythical Games. So yeah, this is a huge, huge gaming company. So everything that we've been talking about on this channel in terms of why Web3 gaming is going to be huge and all the certain things that you're going to be able to do with it, well, these guys are doing it now. As I said, 4 million players already for NFL Rivals. And a while ago, they also bought a thing called D-Market. So they bought this company D-Market, which essentially has allowed them to build this marketplace for the NFTs in their games. So say for NFL Rivals, say you have a player, and this is like kind of fantasy sports kind of thing. Like if you were a kid and you did fantasy sports and you could, trade your players, or you said do the trading cards like I did, and you would trade your friends with the trading cards. This is the modern version of it. You're playing the NFL game. You have a player on your team. Well, now that player's an NFT, and you can sell that player on their marketplace. So as we see here, these are all the players that are available. See the prices here, $15, $103. Obviously, the better the player, the more expensive it's going to be. So yeah, this is like any other NFT marketplace where you can just buy and sell your NFTs from the in-game stuff. Do it here on the marketplace. But look at this. They have this thing called Quick Trade, where essentially you don't have to buy the NFT or sell your NFT. You could actually trade. And this platform does all the buying and selling for you. So say you have a guy who's worth the equivalent of another guy, you just trade it. You could just trade it up. Or you could collect a bunch of different NFTs that are worth less, put them all together, pool them together, and trade it for one NFT that's worth more. And this platform does it all for you. So for you, it just looks like you're just trading your NFTs for this NFT, but in the background, it's actually selling your NFTs and then buying this one for you. And that all happens in the background. You don't even have to know about it. So this is the kind of thing we've been talking about for Web3 gaming. It's actually here now on NFL Rivals and Mythical Games on this marketplace that they have, thanks to their purchase of D-Market. So the other thing I want to talk about, Mythical Games is huge. There's no denying it, but it's a company. Mythical Games is a gaming company. And all those venture people that I was talking about, the Michael Jordans and all that, they've bought equity in the company. So the question is, how does the value actually go to the token? And should you invest in the token or not? Now, I can't answer that for you, but I'll just talk a little bit about what's happening. So the Mythos Foundation is the decentralized aspect of all this. The Mythos Chain is going to be the blockchain that is going to launch on Polkadot. So the Mythos token and in-game transactions and stuff will happen on the Mythos Chain. But it's going to be a decentralized chain, just like Polkadot. And it will be a blockchain on top of Polkadot. So in the old system, it would have been a parachain. And then in the future, basically any block space that it wants to use from Polkadot, it will just kind of buy that as it needs. And we're talking millions and millions of transactions. The other thing I need to mention about the marketplace, which I forgot to mention, is you're going to be able to do multi-game transactions. So if you have a player from NFL Rivals, you'll be able to trade that for an NFT from one of their other games. And as they launch the Mythos Chain, it's not only going to be Mythical Games that are building games for Mythos, they're going to invite all sorts of other gaming studios and other people to use the Mythos Chain. They're really going to be competing to be the gaming chain. So they're essentially a competitor to Immutable X, Beam, which we've talked about on this channel before. And I think that the Mythos Chain has a chance to be the gaming chain in all of crypto. And one of the big news items that came out recently is that Pudgy Penguins, which if you're not familiar with them, they are one of the most successful NFT projects in all of crypto. They're an Ethereum NFT. They have a license agreement with Walmart where they sell a ton of merchandise, Pudgy Penguins merchandise in Walmart. The NFT itself has sold, $500 million worth of sales, trades of just the NFT. So they are huge. Other than CryptoPunks, I think the most valuable NFT in crypto these days. They've announced that they're going to be launching their game, a Pudgy Penguins game, on the Mythos Chain. So they're teaming up with Mythical Games, and they're going to be launching a mobile game using Polkadot because of the Mythos Chain. So That is huge news already. This is going to be launching in 2025. I love this news for so many reasons. One, Pudgy Penguins is not leaving Ethereum. It's an Ethereum NFT, but it wants to launch a game. So it looks around and says, where's the best place for us to launch the game? And they chose the Mythos Chain. Now, and I think this is the future of crypto. This is what Polkadot was all about, interoperability. So it doesn't really matter what chain you're on. The brand is Pudgy Penguins. If you want the NFT, you go to Ethereum, you get the NFT. But if you want to play the game, you're going to be using Polkadot. So anyway, this is a huge brand. The fact that it's going to come into Polkadot is huge, huge, huge. And this is going to be one of many games that come to the Mythos Chain. Think about it. Michael Jordan, all the sports games, okay, they've already got NFL. You know that they've got investment from the NLB Players Association. They've got entertainers and sports figures. You know, imagine a Michael Jordan game on the Mythos Chain. Okay, so the possibilities are endless for the amount of games that are going to be using this chain. And we know that the tech of Polkadot has not been utilized. The reason Mythical Games chose Polkadot, and this brings me to the guy who I think can save Polkadot in this bull run, and that is John Linden. He's the CEO of Mythical Games. And I've watched probably every interview he's ever done that's on YouTube. And he says over and over again that he's had to explain over and over again why Polkadot. That a lot of people, when he says, yeah, we're moving to Polkadot, a lot of people are like, why? Why Polkadot? I don't get it. Why Polkadot? And he's explained. So let me just show you the short clip, which I think is one of the best endorsements of Polkadot I've ever heard.
Super powerful is really a V2 or V3 even of what we've seen in other chains. So we talk to everybody, and I think frankly, most of the chains we talk to, it seems like the number one focus in a lot of blockchains is marketing. Like, they're very focused on marketing and their product. And I think what was really interesting about the Polkadot ecosystem is, frankly, I think it's a little less known than some of the other chains in terms of just, general hype. And we weren't looking for hype. We were looking for substance. We were looking for governance. We were looking for security. We were looking for flexibility of how we can build and how we can interoperate with other game companies on all of our terms, right? Does that make sense?
So there you have it. And this is what I've been saying about Polkadot from the very beginning, why I've loved it from the very beginning. That Gavin Wood is a genius. In terms of blockchain, no one knows more than him, and he's building a chain that is going to be truly decentralized, truly scalable, and very flexible for designers. Now, it has taken way longer than I had hoped, and the fact that they haven't done the marketing like some of the other chains, I do think has hurt them. And now that OpenGov is here, and the community seems insane to me in terms of how they want to market Polkadot. And to me, it seems like they're wasting a ton of treasury money in marketing it in ways that I definitely don't think are having an impact for the cost. But I am still very bullish on Polkadot because of Mythical Games. Now, in terms of the treasury, this is one proposal that I am 100% behind, and a lot of the community has been. And this is from Mythical Games. This passed with flying colors, almost 93% for a lot of DOT. 1 million DOT. So right now that's $7 million. And essentially the proposal is to exchange 1 million DOT for 20 million Myth tokens. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to take that million DOT, the $7 million. They're going to buy 20 million Myth tokens. They're going to airdrop the majority of that. So this is huge. So I'm just going to read this quickly. Basically outlines what I just said. Incentives for DOT holders. Mythos Foundation will supply 15 million Myth tokens. 10 million of those will be airdropped, and then 5 million will be used for liquidity. So 10 million will be distributed to DOT holders. The distribution is based on a snapshot of Polkadot chain data from March 29th. For all accounts that held 10 to 5,000 DOT. Every wallet will receive 22.7 Myth tokens. And then they've got the 5 million for the liquidity for exchanges, custodial partners, and debt. And then they're also going to have 5 million Myth to incentivize DOT holders to interact with the marketplace and for all sorts of bonuses and gaming initiatives and stuff. So anyway, they're going to have this huge treasury to kickstart the Myth token on Polkadot once it does the full transfer to DOT. Now, the timing of this is a little bit unsure still. I've heard him say in interviews it's going to be the first half of this year. So that's getting close. We're talking, maybe in the next month or two. These things tend to always be delayed. So I'm imagining maybe September, but it's definitely going to be happening within this bull cycle to really reach its potential this bull cycle. I think this is, for me, the reason why I think it's going to be worth holding DOT in this bull run. Now, in terms of Myth, is it worth buying the Myth token? That is always a bit unclear. I think for me, it is worth holding some Myth. And one of the reasons for this is an article that I believe John wrote himself, and he's coined the phrase natural staking effect. And this is something I've seen in Photo Finish Live, which is, my favorite Web3 game. And basically the theory is that most people who play these games, their number one reason for holding the token is for in-game use. They want to play the game. They're not really speculators like retail investors. If they make money off of it, great. But their main reason for holding the token is to get to play the game. And so a lot of the token is essentially naturally staked, as he says. And it never leaves the game. And he has a few charts here that he talks about this. So gaming ultimately brings a similar effect that many projects try to create artificially with staking. Staking is often used to lock up your tokens and some incentive, usually to earn more tokens, creating a yield. Natural staking happens more organically. Gamers keep their tokens in the ecosystem not for direct financial gain, but because they value the in-game benefits and experiences that these tokens provide. So it's the ultimate utility token. And he shows in the charts for NFL Rivals that there's always more money coming into the game than is being taken out of the game for the Myth token. And you can see here, there was only a few days where more Myth token was taken out than put in. So he's right, I think. And that's why we're so excited as investors for these games, is because of this natural staking utility. It actually has a true utility. So for me, I think Myth is a very good investment. It's going to be part of my DGen portfolio, but also the reason I'm going to be holding a lot of DOT still, because the more popular the Mythical Games are, or the Pudgy Penguin game, or any of these other games using the Mythos Chain, they're going to need to purchase DOT for the security and the decentralization of it. So to me, this is a huge win for DOT, and why I am still bullish on DOT this bull cycle, even though I think the benefits of Jam and DOT really hitting its potential is not going to come until the next bull cycle in 2028. Speaking of DOT, speaking of exciting projects on DOT, guys, I'm teaming up with Unique. This is something I'm super excited about. I'm not going to give any details in this video. I'm just going to tease it. I've received a grant from the Unique network, and Unique is a parachain on Polkadot, NFT parachain on Polkadot. This is going to be huge for you, the Cryptowise community. Going to be a ton of giveaways and stuff. I'm going to really be trying to build something cool here. So if you're into DOT, or if you're into NFTs, if you're into gaming or whatnot, and always wanted to be part of a project, let me know, because I'm going to be building something here this bull run that I'm excited about. I'm going to be talking more about it in the channel. And of course, it's going to benefit you, the Cryptowise viewers. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be super exciting. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, please smash the like button, and don't be shy. Leave a comment for me. What do you think of Mythos and the Myth token moving to Polkadot? What do you think of Polkadot in general? I really want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys think and what your reaction is to my video. So anyway, thanks for watching. As always, I'm Milton. Until next time, over and out.